What if I told you the scariest thing happening to drone flying in America isn't one single bill? It's the direction a bunch of bills and agencies keep nudging us toward. More tracking, more control, and more friction between you and takeoff. Now, I've seen people say HR 3334 means you'll need government permission for every flight. That's not accurate. But here's the problem. HR 3334 does matter because it's part of a bigger policy pattern that can expand over time. And it's exactly the kind of reasonable in one location authority that can become normal everywhere if nobody pays attention. So today I'm going to do this the right way. I'm going to break down what HR 3334 actually does, what it does not do, why it's being proposed, how it connects to the bigger digital control layer direction people are worried about, what this could mean for pilots long term, and the exact steps that actually matter if you want your voice heard. What's good, drone fam? Welcome back to Rotor and Pixel. Quick favor, hit like right now. Policy videos get buried, and your like helps this reach more pilots before anything gets decided without us. And if you want updates as this develops, subscribe to Rotor and Pixel and turn on notifications. Because drone policy changes don't come with a warning label. They just show up one day and suddenly your flying routine is different. All right, let's get precise. First, what is HR 3334? HR 3334 is a House bill introduced in 2025, and it's titled the U.S. Capitol Police Empowerment Act. On the surface, it's about giving the U.S. Capitol Police clearer legal authority to detect, track, and respond to drone threats around certain Capitol-related facilities and protected areas. So let me say this clearly. HR 3334 is not a nationwide drone ban. HR 3334 does not create a rule that you must request permission for every flight in America. If you've been told that, that's a misunderstanding, and honestly, it hurts our credibility when we talk to lawmakers, because they can dismiss the entire pilot community as uninformed. But, and here's the but, bills like this still matter for regular drone pilots because they set precedents. They normalize expanded counter-drone authority. They accelerate investment in detection and enforcement tools. And if you're not paying attention, you can wake up 5 years later with temporary security measures quietly spread across airports, stadiums, critical infrastructure, and cities. So the question isn't, does this ban drones? The question is, what kind of drone environment are we building? And how much freedom survives once all these systems connect together? Now, I want to separate two different things that people keep mixing into one blob. Thing number one, HR 3334, Capitol Police Counter-Drone Authority in a specific security context. Thing number two, the broader policy direction toward networked low-altitude airspace coordination, identity, tracking, enforcement, and potentially authorization workflows as drones scale up. Those are not the same thing, but they can interact, and that's why pilots should care. What pilots are afraid of? The permission layer future. When pilots say, "I'm worried I'll need government permission for every flight," what they're describing is a concept, not HR 3334 by itself. They're describing a future where flying looks like this. You want to take off. You submit a request, you wait, you get approved or denied. And without approval, your drone may not arm. Let's make this real. Imagine it's golden hour. Perfect sunset. You want a 2-minute flight in your backyard. In a permission layer future, that becomes request, wait, log, track. That's not just regulation, that's friction. And friction is how hobbies and small businesses die. Not through dramatic bans, but through constant little speed bumps that make flying feel not worth it. Now, what would a real digital authorization environment typically involve? 4 buckets. 1, pilot identification, not just Part 107. Potentially registration identity tied to flights, and your info connected to operations through a system. 2, networked tracking and coordination. Remote ID broadcast locally. What people are worried about is the move from broadcast nearby to networked data usable across agencies, where location and flight history can become searchable in real time. 3, intent of flight. Why are you flying? Where, for how long? What's the purpose? Recreation, inspection, content, training. 4. Pre-flight authorization workflows. Request approval, wait, possibly get denied, and if the system says no, you're grounded. Again, I'm not saying HR 3334 does all that. I'm saying HR 3334 exists in the same era where those ideas are being discussed more often, in more places, with more funding behind them, mainly because drone incidents and security concerns are rising. So why is the government pushing harder on drone control in general? 3 reasons: security, cybersecurity, and airspace integration. Reason 1, security. We've watched drones used in conflict zones for recon, targeting, and attack, including FPV-style strike drones. Governments look at that and say, we can't be blind to drone threats domestically, and we've seen real-world drone incidents around airports, major events, and sensitive facilities. So yes, there are legitimate security concerns. But here's the question. Does addressing those concerns require building systems that treat every hobbyist and small business pilot like a potential threat? Because that's where people start pushing back. Reason 2, cybersecurity and supply chain concerns. There's been a long-running debate about firmware risk, components, supply chains, and whether certain drones create unacceptable exposure. Whether you believe all of it, some of it, or none of it, that narrative is being used to justify more visibility and more control, especially around sensitive areas. Reason 3, airspace integration. This is the normal reason. More drones are flying, commercial operations are growing, public safety use is growing, delivery and logistics tests exist, recreational pilots keep increasing, and agencies argue they need a real-time coordination layer to manage low-altitude airspace safely. On the surface, that's reasonable. But implementation matters. Safety coordination is one thing. Permission and surveillance for routine flights is another. So what does HR 3334 change in practice? If you never fly anywhere near Washington, D.C. or restricted areas, you might feel like this doesn't touch you. But here's why it still matters. It signals that lawmakers are more willing to expand counter-drone authority. It increases the likelihood that detection and mitigation tools become more common. And it creates a template. We needed it here, so now we need it there. That doesn't automatically mean you lose freedoms, but it does mean the default momentum is toward more enforcement, not less. What this means for you, depending on how you fly. If you're Part 107, the biggest threat is friction. Time is money. Imagine you show up to a real estate shoot, a construction job, or an inspection. If future systems start adding more pre-flight steps, more verification, more coordination, more uncertainty, clients get impatient fast. Bigger companies with compliance teams will handle that better than solo operators. And that squeezes small business pilots. If you're recreational, the biggest loss is spontaneity. The whole joy of drones is, see a moment, capture it. Friction turns that into, do I really want to deal with this right now? If you're FPV, this hits culture. FPV thrives on practice, quick sessions, finding new spots, freestyle creativity. Add friction, reduce flying. Reduce flying, shrink the community. And for smaller drones, enforcement might not be aggressive on toy drones, but broad legal frameworks can still apply widely, even if practical enforcement focuses on bigger targets. Now, the only question that matters, what can we do? If you do one thing today, do this. Call your House Representative's office. Calls matter more than emails. Tell them you're a constituent and a drone pilot. Say you support safety and security, and say you oppose blanket policies that create unnecessary friction or broad surveillance for routine, lawful drone flights. Be polite, be clear, be specific. Then send a short follow-up email, 1 paragraph, explaining how this affects you personally, your business, your hobby, your family, your community volunteer work, your training, your content, whatever is true for you. Second, stay informed. Track HR 3334 on congress.gov. and also track the bigger policy space, FAA rule proposals, public comment windows, and any new airspace coordination or UTM frameworks that get pushed. Third, educate other pilots. Most pilots won't hear about policy changes until it's already decided. Share this video. Post about it in drone groups. Talk about it at the field. Fourth, support pro-drone organizations. Groups like the Academy of Model Aeronautics and other advocacy groups exist for a reason. Join if you can. Donate if you can. Numbers matter. Fifth, prepare practically, especially if drones are your income. Diversify skills. Photo, video, editing, mapping workflows, ground-based services. That's not giving up. That's smart risk management in a fast-changing space. Hope, realistically. We've been through major changes before. Registration, remote ID, state-level restrictions. The community adapted, and in some cases pushed back and improved outcomes. And drones have real public value: search and rescue, disaster response, infrastructure inspection, agriculture, scientific research, journalism. This industry isn't just toys anymore, and that gives pilots leverage, if we use it. Here's my honest take. HR 3334 is a signal. The bigger signal is that drone policy is moving toward more enforcement capability and more system-level control as drones become more common and more threatening in the wrong hands. Something may change. The question is how heavy-handed it becomes, and that depends on whether pilots engage or stay silent. Action items. In the next hour, hit like. Subscribe to Rotor and Pixel so you don't miss updates. Share this with one pilot friend, and look up your representatives and save their numbers. This week, call your House representative, call one senator. Keep it short, polite, and specific. This month, stay alert for rule proposals and public comment windows, and write down your personal story. Why drones matter to you and what gets harmed if routine flying becomes a permission and friction system. Quick bonus before we wrap. If you're watching this thinking, I want to launch my drone business fast and actually build profitably, I've got you. The best resources I've put together are in the drone launch box. Link below. It's built to help you skip the random guessing, land your first clients faster, and build a real drone business without spinning your wheels. All right, bottom line. This isn't decided yet, but if pilots stay silent, the most restrictive version becomes the default, because nobody argued for a better version. So comment below, what's your biggest worry? Friction and delays, privacy, FPV impacts, or something else? And have you ever contacted your reps about drone laws before? Thanks for watching Rotor and Pixel. Keep flying, stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.